DP, and we are back with another session of Real Talk with DP and Dev. Thank all the real ones for joining. And like I say all the time, like, subscribe to our YouTube page, subscribe to our Instagram, subscribe to our Facebook, Real Talk with DP and Dev for all three. Today we got a very wonderful special guest for y'all. We're going to drop a lot of gems, and we're going to go back to where it started from in terms of real estate. You know, when DP and I first did this thing, you know, we started out just as real estate investing. And then we say, you know what, why not create a platform to talk to other real estate investors and other entrepreneurs and artists that are Black, and let's big up people in the Black community that are doing things, wonderful things, and making money and being happy doing it. So this is really why we started doing what we're doing. But we're back to the start and the origin, and to talk to a seasoned veteran OG in the real estate game who's going to drop a lot of gems for you. But before we go there, I just want to let you know that this show is brought to you by Independent Capital Group. Independent Capital Group is there to help you with a multitude of things, specifically when it comes to real estate investing, but not only real estate investing, also credit repair and credit monitoring. You know, if you are looking to do real estate investing and you don't have your credit right, Independent Capital Group has trained and skilled professionals to help you get your credit to where it needs to be. Whether that be you need to get your credit score up, whether you need to get some stuff off your credit report. We all know that credit is very important in the real estate game. So Independent Capital Group has all those tools and features to help you. And then on top of that, we are able to guarantee 20% return on your investment. Yes, I did say 20% return on your investment when it comes to the game of real estate. So if you want to know more about Independent Capital Group, go to independentcapitalatl.com. Again, it's independentcapitalatl.com. Independent Capital Group, Black owned for Black people who want to make green money. DP, my brother.
What's up, Dev?
Tell us who we got on the show today.
Yo, we got a true mastermind. I know you guys get all these emails and text messages about these mastermind classes, this, that, and the other. But we got the real live living legend, Tracy McGuire.
Oh, wow.
Tracy, he does wholesaling, he does the fix and flips, he does the buy and hold, the Section 8 game. And Tracy, I don't think you know that you were teaching me without even teaching me. I learned because me and Tracy met at one of our homeboys' house. We had friends in common. Bruce invited me over to Kofa house. Mm-hmm. And you were there one day, and you would tell, and Kofa and Bruce saying how you were in the real estate and this, that, and the other. So later on, I ran into you at Capital City Bank, and you were like, "You still in construction?" And I was like, "Yeah." And that's when the market had crashed, and I lost all my houses and stuff, and most people did. Everybody I knew was losing, but you were the only person I knew that was thriving. Even when the market crashed, I was like, dang, how we maintain it? Everybody else going into foreclosure left and right because ain't nobody got no jobs, ain't nobody paying no rent, no nothing. So Tracy was like, yeah, I got some houses and I need to get them the new ones. I need to get them Section 8 ready, rehab, and then existing ones, I need to make sure the inspections get passed. You know what I'm saying? So when Tracy was like, I was like, all right, bet, I ain't making no money in real estate right now, so why not?
Right.
As I was doing the renovations and stuff with Tracy, I was learning the game of Section 8 because it's simple, because it's repetitive, but you just got to know, you got to have somebody who in the game to kind of teach you the game. But he didn't know I was just sitting there soaking up knowledge.
Soaking it all in.
He may have been like, yeah, you need to give me a discount.
And now look, now you teach others about Section 8.
But and Tracy, I can remember talking to Tracy. Tracy had like 150 houses under his belt that he was managing and owning. Some of them also, a lot of them also. But so Tracy had this vast, and you went on 20-something years now, so he had this knowledge of the good market, the bad market, the in-between market, and how he survived and flourished during all those times. You know what I'm saying? So I got much respect for him. So without further ado, Tracy McGuire. You know what I'm saying?
That was a hell of an introduction, man.
Right. I appreciate that. Wow. And I'm so glad that our story is what our story is, because
Well,
That
we need to
story
do
at the
the toast
time.
first. We need to do the toast. You got to do a toast, Tracy. That anything you want to toast to, you know what I'm saying? We
Yeah,
just
the floor is yours. It's customary for the guests before we get started to raise it up, man. So what do you want to toast to today?
20 plus in the game.
All right.
You,
yeah, and I want
19 plus wife.
yeah. Hey, congratulations, both of you guys. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
So Tracy, take it.
I know we're probably experiencing a small delay, but back to what I was saying. Number one, again, appreciate the introduction. Great, make me feel proud. But I'm glad our story is what it is, because I like people who been knowing me and see me go through the so-called times when the market's good, the challenging times. Because really, in real estate, the market is always good. You just have to know what to do in each market. For instance, we're talking about the financial crisis. That is a true buyer's market at the time. And I was fortunate enough to be with some partners, a partner, actually, it was a 93-year-old man in the 80s, and he was a private lender, and he would loan money to investors like myself to buy properties and fix them up, resell them, refinance, whatever, right?
Wow.
And so he was stuck like a bank. So he was a small guy who owed the bank money, but he had a portfolio of houses sitting and not getting paid. So he was on his way down. Imagine at 83, he was panicking, right? So he heard about what I was doing with some other clients, you could say at the time. So I was building portfolios at cash, and we'll never see these prices again. That about the now, there were properties you could go in Atlanta and buy properties $5,000 to $25,000 all day long. And right today, those same properties I'm seeing selling some of them $3,000. Just amazing to me. That's how real estate works. And so in this current market in Atlanta, as far as the prices, it's hard for me to get a grasp on it. I was buying those same houses for 20 grand. Only 3-4 years ago, guys. It wasn't that long ago. They just took off, And so when someone send me a property across my desk, 150 grand, I'm like, dude, I own a property next door. I paid 20,000 or whatever for it. Just hard for me to wrap my thought process around that. But that being said, Devontae and I was having a conversation earlier today, actually, and I was sharing with him that I typically go into submarkets in Atlanta now. I don't really look to buy and hold in Atlanta. Don't get me to buy and flip here and there if I get a good deal.
So hold on, Tracy. For those who don't know,
I'm looking to buy and hold.
I'm sorry. I by no means I mean to cut you off, but for those who are listening who may not know what the submarket is, can you kind of explain that? Tracy, can you hear me?
Submarket, for instance, yeah, I'm assuming everyone who's, or most people who are listening to this broadcast are local Atlanta people. I assume it doesn't really matter. For instance, in Atlanta, Conyers, Clayton County, Newton, or whatever, even farther out is a submarket of Atlanta, right? What if you go up north? What is that? Calhoun or whatever.
Like Blairsville and Woodstock and those areas. Yeah.
You getting out of the city completely. You going out of the city.
Yeah. And for instance, I know, Delonte, you're not from Georgia per se. My roots are in Atlanta. My father is from basically Lithonia, Georgia. There's a small town called Reed, Georgia. That's my was really from, but a lot of just kind of Lithonia. My mother from Conyers, Rockdale. So I have, the reason I'm sharing this, I tell people, if you have ties in any town, Georgia, if you're living in Atlanta and your people are from whatever, Augusta, Georgia, Macon, Georgia, whatever, those are good sub-markets to start because you have some familiarity with those towns. Family, they may have Uncle Bob may be ready to sell, or that type of thing. And believe it or not, it's a domino effect. It may not be the same values price-wise that you're experiencing in Atlanta. You're not gonna go to Macon the same price for a property you pay in Atlanta. Don't get me wrong, but it still kind of grows and stimulates off Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta is saturated with other investors. Prices are higher. The other investors coming, for instance, when Delonte and I kind of reunited at Capital City Bank that day, one of the things I probably shared with him was one of my clients at the time was Chinese investors who had bought 50 houses from me, and I would put Section 8 in them and manage them for them, that type of thing, create a form of residual income, built pretty much a property management division of my company. But it said you have Atlanta's such a hot market, you have people from all over the damn globe looking to buy here. So that's why you see these prices going up like they are, along with the interest rates. But Atlanta's a real so-called international city. Growing up here in Atlanta, I can remember when people were saying that, like, yeah. Once the Olympics, that's when it started to take off. And now it's pretty much plateaued with all the Fortune 500 companies we have here. All the people still moving here during COVID. A lot of people still moving here or back to Atlanta. So it's still a good time for real estate here in Atlanta, although we deal with COVID, especially if you're a fix and flipper guy, because you can get a house, fix it up, it's vacant, it's easy to show. Nobody worried about coming in with masks, sanitizing the hands, gloves, etc. If you got someone who needs to sell a house, and especially if they have possibly be in the house, elderly, with some underlying conditions, it's hard to show that house. Like, nobody in my house have that. I could count the number of people who've been to my house since COVID. My wife and I haven't. Just don't want to have a lot of people in and out the house because this COVID-19 until this thing get resolved. But the Atlanta real estate market has been able to survive it. I've been seeing.
So Tracy, I've talked to you about two houses that you've had, and especially the house in St. Lucie, the last house I talked to you about, and I guess our numbers couldn't work to make that a viable deal. So you just done with Atlanta right now and moving out because it's so saturated, and we've had problems finding houses because it's a bidding war, even on the houses that are the rundown houses. It's a bidding war. I mean, I like the fact it's a bidding war on the retail side, but when it's a bidding war, when you get the raw material, that's crazy also.
Yeah, I agree. Those two properties that I sat on those for a while, for about 6 months, and then all of a sudden the market just whoop. What it was uncertainty with the COVID. The market kind of stabilized, then it took back off. Once everybody got comfortable again with buying, investing, it just took off. Then there was no inventory, still no inventory. That's what you're talking about. That's what we experienced, a lot of low inventory. That particular property, believe it or not, I'm scheduled to close on it the first this week. That Santa Lucia.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
The other one, right? And so I sold it 2 months ago or 3 months, maybe.
Nice. Congratulations.
But now, but in my world, Dev, that's what I do. That's what we do, right? So, okay.
Hey, quick story though, quick thing. Now, of course, you would say that, and now I realize where DP gets it from, because every time I say, "Hey, congrats if we're closing on a house together," And I'm like, yo, congrats. He looks at it just like how you look at it, like, oh yeah, it's whatever, ho hum, yada yada yada. I'm still on this side of real estate. I'm a little still new to it. I've always been on the inspection and property condition assessment due diligence side. So for those who are trying to get the loans and have to get a report to understand what the useful life of fixtures are within a property, whether it be commercial real estate, that's what I'm familiar with. That's my wheelhouse. So this part is still new to me. So I'm still like, shoot, we closing the house. That's great. Meanwhile, you guys are like, ho hum, whatever. This is what I do.
I'm gonna tell you what I get excited about. Right, I've set out a campaign, a marketing campaign.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I said, when I get that deal, now it could be a small deal, a big deal, a little deal. I said, it still works, right? But one thing I do is when I set out a campaign, and especially in these sub markets, I just say this: I think the further you go out, the probability of landing something huge is bigger. What I mean by that is you find a lot of these small towns. And what I've learned, a lot of small towns, big bass in that pond.
Yeah, yeah.
For them big bass, it's about 3, 4, 5 big bass there, right? Now I've learned how to for them. If you go to reistrategies.com, I can tell you exactly how to do that. But you go fish for them. For instance, I found a gentleman recently. It's only been, I think I met this gentleman this March. Now it's still March. I met him in October. And this guy had 119 houses. I flipped 20 of them, right? So I did 15 of them simultaneously at the same time, one closing, right?
Wow.
Years ago, experience I've run into a gentleman in Macon, Georgia. He had 200 houses, right? Flipped, what I think it is, 90 of them in like less than like 30 days. It sounds impossible. Now that's the stuff get hell yeah, that feeds my ego. It's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, girl, we're doing something. So you're out there. Still out there, especially
Tracy, back up a second. You said you flipped 90 of them in 30 days.
In 30 days.
Yeah.
You made $1,000 a house. That's $90,000. Even if you made $1,000 a house, that's $90,000 in 30 days.
But I wouldn't work for 1,000. That ain't enough.
So if I calculate that correctly, you made anywhere between $250,000 and $500,000 in a month.
Yeah.
Yep, it's possible. This business. That was that particular story. Those two stories. The 83-year-old, which is 93-year-old gentleman I was telling you about. He's 93, 94 today. But same thing. We built the portfolio. This is what I have to stop doing is building portfolios. Then everybody comes knocking on your door. Everybody in Atlanta City, all these postcards calling you, whatever, to buy your properties, right? It's tempting. So I'm in the process of building my last portfolio. But the previous one I sold, we did 43 houses in one day. Now it took time to build up that portfolio, and all of these were Section 8 homes. And people just running to us, knocking the door. The whole portfolio. A gentleman came in and offered, I think, 1.8 million cash. I met him at a coffee shop, Starbucks. A Friday, we set up the inspections over the weekend. Closed them that next Friday. Delayed it a couple of days. We didn't have those back.
Okay.
So
yeah, and the crazy thing about it,
overnight.
And the crazy thing about it, because I used to go get checks from your guy, your partner, the old guy, over there over people.
So you
Yeah,
validate
and
what I'm talking about.
yeah, and they used
That's
to
right.
get checks in the mail from you guys from China. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for
Right.
renovating and doing
So
this.
validated. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't know this now. This is
So,
actual live
so,
experience. Right.
so Tracy, let me ask you. So what can you talk about some of the strategies and organization that you had to put in place to be able to flip those houses in 90 days? What was some of the things that you was able to do to effectively do that without telling all of your secrets?
Well, you have to go. You have to go to REIstrategies.com and figure out. And I go in there. I tell
Good deal,
everything
good deal.
right there. My faith is a student of mine purchased my course, and I think you can validate that as well. It's right there.
Yeah.
Like I'm on this video, you see it back over and over again, step by step by step by step. How you? If you go to REI machines, it's only $9. You might
How much is it?
make $99. Was it $99 with REI machines? And you buy up the master class and get the platinum. The more will be revealed. Because there's a lot of strategies out there. How you really tap into this stuff. How you market and find these big fish, these big guys in a small pond, and that's who I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That's the guy I'm looking for. I have relationships with all these people. All these people I'm sharing with you, I could call them right this minute. Well, they may not answer this time of the evening, but I could talk with them.
Right.
Have good relationships with them. Some of them still be ready to deal, willing to deal. They think I'm calling about business more than us. That's normally what I'm gonna talk to them about.
Right.
Small talk, how your family, But
let's get to it.
Right. But you create some friendships along the way. Taking me to a lot of places with this guy who was best friends with one of the majority owners of the Atlanta Hawks. And he calls me up one night. He said, "Hey, Tracy, I'm going to the Hawks game. LZ is not in town." And he gave us his tickets. These tickets on the floor, dude. I'm throwing the ball back to the referee. I ain't paid a dime. But just by doing business with these guys. But real estate will put you in those type of environments. I'm not a hockey fan. I've been to one hockey game in my life. And that one hockey game I went to, I sat in the owner's box on the ice. As a result of this business, not a result of me paying for this stuff, just not telling who you may meet. And I call it fishing. I always call it fishing. When I put together a marketing campaign, I'm fishing. Because you never know what you're going to catch. I am a real fisherman, so I never know what I'm going to catch. I don't know how big that fish is going to be at the end of that line. I don't know how small it's going to be. But when I'm big mouth bass fishing, I'm trying to catch pounder. That's what I'm going for. I'm going for the trophy. Now, I apply that same analogy with real estate. I'm going for the trophy. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to hit some singles and doubles, etc. Get some small ones to eat here and there. But at the end of the day, I only need one or two big catches and kind of stitch
Tracy,
it off.
what made real estate attractive to you versus anything else? You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of other businesses that folks are making a lot of money in. What's the thing about real estate?
I'm glad you asked that. We started sales. I didn't know I could sell. I didn't start selling until I was 30, in my 30s, early 30s, 33. I started really doing real estate, really doing it 34, 35. And I was selling insurance. And one day, I guess my I went to him. Hey man, my check not right. Right? He said, "Oh, let me check it out or whatever." He said, "Oh, you got a charge, chargeback." I said, "What the hell is that?" He said, "Oh yeah, someone so the policy that you signed them up in less than 30 days or 60 days or something like that." I'm like, "Oh hell no!" So I got to find something. When it's done, because at the time I was married. I would leave my wife home by herself at night. selling insurance. I was still working a job during the day. At the time, I was working at the Cab Medical Center selling insurance at night, in the evenings. And then I was having a conversation one day with my father and my uncle. I don't know if you met them, Delonte. They passed along now. And they was construction people. And my uncle lived in Kirkwood. Decatur, Kirkwood, right? I'm saying this before. And we out on the front.
Kirkwood is the place to be right now.
Oh man, listen to this. He and I sitting out on the porch talking. Now keep in mind, I'm talking 20 plus years ago. And he said, son, Mr. Jones sold that house over there to this couple for like $30. They turned around and said they didn't put no more than $20,000-$30,000 in that property. They sold it for $145,000. I'm like, what? These are people I knew. Yeah, this Swift did the same thing. It's coming around here buying houses. So at the time, I could get a house in Kirkwood at the time under 100 grand like it was nothing. 50, 60, Grant Park, all this at the time. So, and I knew these people. That's why I say, if you go in these sub-markets, if you go back to your roots, there's probably opportunity there. And I just happened to be already in my roots, if that makes sense to you. I knew half of the people in Kirkwood, Langford Barbershop. I think you and I did a deal. One of the first deals we did was in Kirkwood area, if I'm not mistaken. Delonte, what, 15, whatever place?
Kirkwood's on the east side. Kirkwood's in Decatur. Yeah.
You had a mortgage company something over there, right? Or the closing attorney was over there.
I met you over there because Monique and Kev was closed. Kev was closing a house with you, and that's when I met you again because you had to connect with investor.
I knew that was we
were at the closing attorney office.
Right. That was I think his name here in a minute, but owns Vesta. Yeah, I haven't bought any properties from him in a while.
We were at Attorney Shannon office. Yeah, her name was Shannon. Yeah.
Yeah, but that guy, I can't remember his name right now, but I'll think of shortly. But that closing took place in Kirkwood on Boulevard. It's not Hosea Williams.
Hosea Williams.
Yeah, that was Hosea Williams.
Yeah.
From his little chemical.
And it's all
built up barbershop where I used to get my hair. Yeah, but with that being said, that particular community is definitely has 100% identification, along with other little kind of Grant Park, East Lake, East Atlanta. I grew up in East Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. East Atlanta,
all those areas have experienced pretty much 80 to 100% gentrification, the real experience of it. And so Atlanta, to me, they're just buying up all pockets now, the real historic pockets like what Vine City going through. Man, I used to buy properties in Vine City and couldn't sleep at night. I would put it fast as I could put a toilet in there, they would take it out. But one thing about the city now, a lot of those places are not as bad because they've been cleaned up. I would think, in my mind, the worst place that probably from having drug activity would probably be Lakewood or maybe what is it, or somewhere like that. There's only a couple more pockets left. It's rough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thanks to education, cleaned up a lot of this stuff. And the city is looking good to me, but
now, what do you think about gentrification? How do you feel about gentrification? Because a lot of black folks are like, well, you bringing the other folks in here and they're raising their price, the property taxes up, and you pushing our people out who've been here forever. What's your take on that?
I'm a capitalist, so capitalism is the best. But the reality of it is, growth. Vine City is a prime example of what you're saying. To me, like, look what Arthur Blank has done down there and the city, and it needed that. It was horrible. I wouldn't even go down there at night. In fact, I still have a rule of thumb because majority of my properties out this has been in the city of Atlanta. And after 3 o'clock, it's shut down. Don't look at no more properties till the next morning. You know, you're really putting yourself from my perspective, in harm's way. In fact, I have experienced, not me per se, because I told this particular gentleman, I said, do the same thing I'm sharing now. Look at your properties in the morning, 3 o'clock, shut it down. He wants to go out at 4 or 5 o'clock. He gets stopped by the police. So they think he's down there purchasing drugs, etc. He told the police, APD told this gentleman the exact same thing I just said. He said, look at those properties in the morning, man. After 3 o'clock, don't be out here. You know, you're putting yourself in harm's way to possibly get robbed, etc. However, a lot of that stuff, a lot of those areas have gotten better by putting precincts, like they have a precinct in Vine City now. I can remember when they put the first precinct in Kirkwood, Grant Park. I can remember that, you know. And so to answer your question, yeah, I believe in gentrification. And as far as the people, when the taxes get up and they can't afford the properties anymore, the city has put some type of programs in place for seniors, but they cannot raise their tax value, raise their property taxes, but they can afford to stay there. But I've been doing this 20 years, over 20 years, and it's just a matter of time. We're all gonna die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The life cycle just goes on. And so when you see that 20-year cycle, boom, you see what you pretty much don't see all the corrections. You don't know how it's gonna come, you know. As far as the financial crisis, that was directly related to real estate. This COVID is really not a financial crisis. You know, it is affecting a lot of people in service, restaurants, etc. However, everybody needs a place to live. You know, and of course, it's starting to affect office buildings, commercial real estate, which
Definitely.
is part of why we're doing virtual meetups now. But I'm an advocate of gentrification, man. What can I say? Because I've been a part of it for so long.
True. So where do you see this real estate going? Because, you know, some people assume that these prices are higher than they should be, and it can't sustain it. And there's a bust. The bubble is about to burst soon. Do you think that?
You know something? I'm glad you asked that. It's a lender. I have a lender. He loaned this guy. I'm not part of We Buy Ugly Houses. I'm not a part of that. However, I know the gentleman who loans all those associates. They get all their money for him in the Southeast. And I've had a relationship person to person for a while. And I asked him the same question you just asked me about a month ago. And this is how he responded. And I've had about 3 other people to respond in the same way who's been in the business over 20 years. Interest rates, number one, staying low is driving it. Believe it or not, driving this market. Believe it or not, COVID is driving this market. And then we are in Atlanta. Atlanta still have, if you look at the research, statistical counts, it's people in here like crazy during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. And so Atlanta still got fluctuating with people coming in and out, believe it or not, but a lot of people stick and they stand. I run into a group of people who are come from California, but originally from Georgia, like, oh, we're moving back home. We can't do nothing out there. And so, of course, you still got the Fortune 500 companies. You know, Amazon barely missed that bid. But however, you look at where I live off South Fulton Parkway. Amazon has a terminal about every house.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yep. Sure do. I live over South Fulton Parkway as well, and there's actually an Amazon fulfillment center right off of the industrial park next to Camp Creek.
Yep. So we're in the same community. Yeah. So in Atlanta, people, when we say, man, the prices are not going back down, like the last correction, that the financial crisis, that I don't think you will never see that in our lifetime again for sure. And I think even if you do see another major correction like that in Atlanta, it probably only go down 15, 20% of that and come right back in these strong areas. Now, if you really know how to snoop out deals, don't get me wrong, deals are always going to be there, but you got to know what you're doing, get the shovel and go get them. You know, it's not going to be on the MLS. They're sitting up for the takings. You know, you got to know how to have other strategies to find these deals. If you go to reistrategies.com, I can show you how to do that. Where you really develop your skills, really go find the deal. You'll still be able to find the deal once the correction come. Probably under 50 grand, but you know, you got to have the skill sets to know what you're doing to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know that one of the trends, I know DP and I spoke about it before, you know, one of the things that you need to make sure to be mindful of, especially in these submarkets like you talk about, is, you know, who's building, you know, what companies are going out there in terms of building, you know, or what companies are moving there, because once that happens, you know, you're going to have more employees and people working out there, and those people are going to need homes. So I know that, you know, if you're looking into like the multifamily type of game, though, that's really one of the things that you look at. You look at the market trends and see what actually where people are going, because when you find that out, you're able to understand, you know, there may be a property there that you can attain these units and then make some money.
Right, totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I see the Atlanta market just keep going up. What I mean by that, population, from a population perspective. So to piggyback on your point, Dev, people are always gonna need a place to live. I don't care if it's in a house, condo, apartment, you know, you're gonna need a place to live. Like, pay attention, you guys. We live in Atlanta. Look at that corridor. It's sad what I'm about to say.
Right.
Look at that corridor right there where 85, 75 north and south, 20 east and west. What you see under the underpass right there, right? You see all these homeless people, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's Gateway. If you don't get in Gateway, right up the street from Magic City, that's where Gateway is located, right there precise somewhere in that area. That's the last homeless shelter in the city. They shut down the water. Now, if you pay attention to what I'm saying again, go back to Pine and Piedmont, or Pine and Peachtree, right? Right up in there where they had St. Joseph, St. Jude's, the homeless shelter. They shut down. Still look like a little Skid Row-ish, like Skid Row. However, look at all the new development, all those condos, condos. Mm-hmm. So all those guys, investors, been buying, like, was it CSX railroad? You see what they're doing?
Yeah, the railroad. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. You see what they're doing to the buildings, right? They've been renovated, under renovation. They're buying all that corridor right where the Gulch, all on the outskirts of that Gulch. They're going to do something similar, guys. And they're going to run those people out too. Where are they going to go? Back to what you were talking about, gentrification, where they're going to send these people. I don't have a clue, but that's what's about to happen. It's happening. It's not about to. It's in progress.
Yeah.
But this city is getting so tight. You know, I hate to bring this up, but it's real. All the strip clubs are going to be put in a central location in Atlanta.
Right, you're gonna be instead of bar hopping, you're gonna be strip club hopping.
You're gonna be able to walk to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
The real estate is becoming so valuable. Think about it. What is it? NCR.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Swipe the credit card. Right.
Yeah, they got the big building. You know, when you go down 85, 75, they just made that big building.
Yeah, and across the street from there is a gentleman's club.
Mm-hmm.
That building, if you go there, NCR, they got it dressed up. It looks like Christmas. They're not going to let that building stay there. They already offered them. I think that particular establishment been offered some healthy money, like over 60 million.
Right.
It's the oldest building on the block. You see all the renovation that's going on there, all the new condominiums, all the new apartments being built up. And they're just not gonna let the two little old buildings just stand there. They go, go.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But that's the
So
city we
where is, because you go downtown, you go up 85, 75, 85, you go past 20, and you see all these cranes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
some
Yep.
condos and apartment going for like 1 point something. And some buildings, one building, the Olympus, I think, the minimum cost is $750,000 for it. That's the minimum cost to even get in the building. I mean, where these people coming from and what they're doing that have that type of bread? Because that ain't the average folks. And you got the whole building and that's just not that building. That's several of them in the area that's being built or has been built that housing these type of affluent folks.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the same corridor. We talking about the same corridor. I'm just occasionally, if you want to see the infrastructure.
Oh, so you rubbing elbows with those folks?
I'm just around there patronizing places, eating. But yeah, the companies, the Fortune 500 companies, are the tech companies. Georgia Tech is right there as well.
Yeah, I'm about to say Georgia Tech's there also.
They right there. They hire their people. A lot of these companies hire their people to build those buildings. They're engineers. They're smart people, architects. They getting paid 150 plus. They're making a lot of money. If you go on Crescent, that the whole tech sector there, I think Amazon, that's not Amazon, but what's the other one? Google, one of them, those are their people.
Yeah.
Right there with U12 on Crescent, I think all those tech people, they're making good money. And now what Google has done, they've been virtual. What? They told them don't come back the next summer. Right? Due to COVID-19. Right? They don't come back next summer. We don't need you in the building. So, but yeah, I think with the tech companies and all the other Fortune 500 companies are here, and a lot of them, like I said, still coming. And a lot of them are posting up in these sub markets. Believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Some of these Fortune 500 companies in these smaller sub markets outside of Atlanta. Research it or go to REIstrategies.com. We can talk about it. Yeah. Yeah. Because how you make money, especially if you learn how to navigate through the web, through the World Wide Web from a real estate perspective. If you know what I mean, if you learn how to do that from a real estate perspective, go out and find other markets. There's a lot of people, investors who are seasoned, experienced, like myself, who know how to go virtual, go into other markets. I've been making most of my living the past year and a half in sub markets of Atlanta. Some even
you already rich. You can do that.
No, after feeding the family, after keep eating.
Yeah. Tracy being bashful, right? But Tracy got a lake in the back and a paddle boat and all that stuff in the back.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here you go. Here we go. Telling people's business again.
Yeah, he got a couple of boys who about to be all-star baseball stars. And I was like, so.
But also they had Woodward Academy, so I got to pay them people.
That's T.I. and those well-to-do folks. Kids go over there, so they're rubbing elbows with the right people now.
Yep, but like I said again, real estate will take you places that I never thought I would. I never thought I would be. So
did you see how? That's when you know. That's when you know you the OG when you smoothly sidestep that comment and keep it going. That's when you know it's real deal. Hey Tracy, let me ask you a question. So have you always focused on single family homes, or have you dabbled in multifamily and commercial?
I keep in mind, first of all, if you do a like a package of houses, anything, if I'm not mistaken, it may be 500,000, but I know 1 million. Anything over 500 or $1 million is considered a commercial transaction anyway. I don't care if it's developing a community or subdivision or packaging houses. But to
Right.
answer your question, yeah, I've done several small apartment deals, anywhere
Okay.
from 5 units to 25 units, which they, would definitely consider anything 5 units or more is considered a commercial
Commercial.
transaction
Right.
for a
Right.
multifamily. Um, I never dealt with office space or industrial, done land, some land stuff, but it just depends how big it is. Far as land, how is it considered commercial? Not like look around where we're at, right? When I first moved over here, I saw all that land. I'm like, wow, I need to buy that land. Look, you see what happened,
And look what happened now. Right. Right.
right? All those guys industrial don't came just ate it up, And I'm like kicking myself. Why didn't I buy some of that land? You know what I mean? It was for the
I
taking.
mean, now look now. There's actually still some land available.
Yeah.
Actually there's some land over right by they're building a new, what is that? What road is that? It's the road going to Fayetteville. There's actually some land available over there. This is the street where you still got the car dealerships, and if you go further down, you'll run into, I believe, Jonesboro. Say it again.
138.
138. Yeah, so there's still land over there.
Yeah, that's expensive land. That land there, with where you see what we was talking about, right at South Fulton Parkway and Stonewall.
Yeah.
At one point, that land was affordable, I think, and that's.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. I know I didn't. But I go back again to salt markets. You talking about land, seeing it coming before someone else sees it coming. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Tracy, let me ask you, with their course, and somebody who want to get into, and I wish I knew how to wholesale legitimately, because that's a valuable skill to have, and you create your own market. You know what I'm saying? You create your own inventory, and you cherry pick which houses, whatever inventory you have coming through. You cherry pick which one you want to keep, which one you want to, let publicize. What type of outlay, money wise, does somebody need to have if they really want to do the business?
Wholesaling.
Yeah, let's start with wholesaling.
Well,
if they get the course and do wholesaling, because they got to be taught.
Yeah, this I share the pros and cons of it in a sense. The good thing about wholesaling, if you know what you're doing, it could be very lucrative and acquire money fast. And what I mean by that is wholesaling always been my, if you want to say, I play golf now, my go-to club, if you know what I mean. So, okay, I'm in trouble. I need to wholesale. It was so, at one point, it was so easy to do that in Atlanta. However, on the other side of that, now everybody and their mama want to wholesale. I said, oh, I want to wholesale. It's easy, fast money. Yeah, if you know what you're doing, it could be if you're in the right market and know what you're doing. But what I'm experiencing and what you are experiencing, you have a lot of wholesalers out there who are not that experienced and really, just be honest with it, don't know what they're doing, not doing it the right way.
Right.
I went and looked at this a prop last Saturday, and this was from a referral in Ellenwood from a family member of mine who have sent me probably 3 or 4 leads, and I bought properties, not purchased. I get there, I'm talking to the seller, looking around the property, etc., looking at the repairs. She says, yeah, Tracy, she said about 60 people don't call me. She said one person offered me $95,000. I'm like, really? She said, yeah, they told me that house right over there across the street sold for $250,000. I said, oh, really? I said, okay. I said, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back and do due diligence, and I get back with you with an offer on Monday or whatever. I go back, I look, I didn't see not one property sold for close to $200,000. I'm
Oh, wow.
I'm using Yeah, I'm using good tools to do my due diligence. 150, 160 at the most. And during our conversation, the seller, she says, Tracy, my payoff around $70,000. As I asked her, I said, okay, that's what I need. That's what I need to buy the property for. This conversation, I think yesterday, right, Devontae? That's what I need to buy the. The house needed 40 grand. So how you gonna pay 95,000? It's only gonna sell tops 160 and put 30, 40 grand in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
that makes
and
sense.
a lot of wholesalers who are not that experienced and don't know what they're doing, put this kind of stuff out, and
Right.
it gives the seller, a potential sellers, a delusional price, and they believe it. Oh no, I can get $95,000. Somebody offered me that already. So what? They're not gonna close if you go into contract with them, and it's hard to persuade a person. Once they, someone has put that delusion in their mind, to go in and kind of, okay, let me de-brainwash you. That's not gonna happen. And then get in the bid and work. Now you got 60 people. Like, I believe that. Now she got 60 people calling her. I believe she had the person offered 95,000 too.
Yeah, but they're not gonna be able to close it. They're not gonna be able to close it.
Exactly. But the seller don't know that.
Yeah.
They don't even know.
Right.
No.
Well, let me ask you this question. In the submarkets that you're in, are there so for instance, you find a deal, or one of your students find a deal in the submarket. Let's say it's 30,000. Are there numbers there to be able to buy it, do a hard money lender? Because they got some minimal.
Right. Now you got to know what the ARV is. For instance, I'm buying a property tomorrow for $37,000. Houses on the block selling for $75,000. But I'm not going to rehab this house. I'm going to rent it with a Section 8 tenant paying $900.
But so a lot of lenders will do 75,000 minimum. So if you got you got that bread, so you don't have to take the traditional route everybody else take. You know what I'm saying? So the average person will have to bring a lender in and refi after they initially purchased the house, or you know what I'm saying? Unless the house ready to move in.
Now keep in mind, what they call OP money, OP. It's powerful.
OPM.
I think boyfriend steals that. But yeah, that gives you leverage. So, anything could happen out here. You know what I mean? I don't want to go to putting salt in the game. Anything could happen out here. There are lenders out there. You can find private lenders who want to do safe loans, etc. Like I said again, talk about that at reistrategies.com too. The ways you can find lenders, private, smaller loans, etc. And keep in mind, you can do volume. It doesn't have to be one little deal of someone you have a good relationship with who loan you money. You turning their money. You may be doing a $30,000 deal, but what if you're doing 6 or 7 or 8 of those?
Right.
Not
that add up.
Yeah. So you got a line of credit, let's say now $250,000 or $500,000.
You in the game. Hey, look, man, yeah. I would love to stay on and chat.
We know it's your anniversary, and your wife, you know what I'm saying, she probably texting you saying, hey, time to go. Hey, we got reservations.
Actually, she's not, but I'm trying to be smart enough so she doesn't have to do that. So, gentlemen, hey, peace, man. Peace, beautiful people. Thank you all for watching, and keep watching and keep learning. All right, y'all.
Yes, happy anniversary.
Yes, I will. Yeah. All right.
So who are just you and I?
Yeah, just us.
Okay. So how many people watch? Does it show?
Right now it's 6 people, but what I'm saying is that over the next couple of days, people are watching their convenience. You know what I'm saying? That's the key.
All right.
To be live versus a podcast where might be considering doing where it's recorded, then you just release it and then you just wait for people to watch it. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
So Tracy, tell us a little bit about the program, your program that you marketing, or you about to market. Now, is it live now, or are you still tweaking? I know you told me earlier you were tweaking some things.
We got a lot of noise there. We got you there?
Yeah,
Let me
I'm in.
see. Yeah, I'm still tweaking some stuff, but yeah, it's still live. You can still go on the site. We talk about, REI Machines talks about basically wholesaling at the end of the day. Fast starts, REI Machines talk about wholesaling, how you can get started quick and make money in real estate real fast. Then you talk about moving up. You talk about being a rookie, then you move up. It has certain tiers. You keep moving up. You can get into masterclass. You can go all the way up to platinum. Each time you advance and go up, you learn different strategies, different type of strategies. How you find deals. How you talking about building a portfolio for short, long term. Talking about basically wholesaling houses, fixing, flipping houses. And we're talking about buying whole for the long term, for your legacy, for your family, and your retirement, that type of thing. So you could eat today, and pretty much a plan for tomorrow.
and that's a good thing, because, like, again, you really put me on to the Section 8 know-how, and I was just sitting there looking at, I was like, what you were doing. I was like, yeah, okay. I'm just taking notes mentally about what you were doing when back in the day. I was like, okay, it's not hard, but you got to have some type of mentorship or some type of guidance to be able to maneuver through some of the pitfalls that's going to happen, And I
That's
think
what already.
I think that's one problem that most people have, is that the pitfalls are there. It's a matter, are you willing to pay for some type of guidance to guide you through the minefield?
And that's it. I put it to you this way: if I had a mentor, I went through this, what you call the school of hard knocks. However, I bought courses at the time, like the course I'm selling, but I'm marketing. I bought courses like that at the time, back in the day. One of the hottest courses or mentors out there was John Adams, but it was so funny. What I learned from John Adams, he didn't know nothing about Section 8. He was terrified of Section 8. He and I sat down at one point, ran into one another at the famous pub one day, and we sat there and drank a pitcher of beer. And I said, John, how many houses do you own? He said, oh, about 5 or 6. I said, that's all? And he looked at me and said, how many you own? I said, at the time, I said, I don't know, about 20. He said, he couldn't believe that, 20 houses. I'm looking at him like, what's wrong with him? He's like, wow. I may have told him a bigger number. I don't know, because I was really buying up everything back then. It probably, at that point, I think I got up about 45, 50 houses, and they was all Section 8. And but he couldn't believe.
Hold on, Tracy. So the average person can go to 0 to 10, then to 10 to 20, then 20 to 30, because it's a process. First of all, you got to find the deals.
Yeah, that's a lot to it.
And one of the regrets that I have these last probably 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, with me and my wife, I was trying to be conservative versus buying everything that was a good deal. And then we would have probably 20, 25 houses today versus 12, 13, whatever the number is, But I mean, I'm still appreciative of where we at, but I was trying to be conservative to make sure, everything was 100, because I didn't want to go through what I went through that last recession.
Yeah, who does? But at the same time, I had to get through that fear barrier. I had to put that behind me and keep it moving. But I learned like that financial crisis. A lot of people out who probably listening can't relate to this because they probably were not. There may be some seasoned investors out there who probably were not in the real estate business at the time. They had a product out there called 80% refi, no seasoning cash out. I don't know if you remember that. In other words, what that meant was, let's say you had a property that appraised at $100,000, you could buy it today and you could refinance tomorrow at 80%, $80,000. I can't remember. I think the interest rates are what, 2 above prime or whatever. If you could put that whatever $1,000 in your pocket. Now I'm looking at an $80,000 loan, right? And I'm probably only getting $1,000 a month, right? So my payments, what, talking about $800 maybe, I don't know, $900. For me, there's not enough money, cash property. I think that's a form of a failure, just to make $100 a month off of property. Anything could happen, expenses, a blown hot water tank, whatever, anything could happen.
But you have podcasts, the bigger pockets out there saying $100 a month is acceptable.
But trust me, that's what I'm saying. Speaking from a mentor perspective, seasoned perspective, is not. That's a form of a failure. It's not. But think about it now. You got 10 houses, right? So you're getting $1,000 a month. That's a lot of work. Number one, to manage 10 houses a month for $1,000. So, poof, the hot water tank blows out at one of them. How much does a hot water tank cost? Probably better than I do. What, $400?
More than that.
Who's going to install it? Right. It's about $500. So now the plumber, how much is he going to charge you to install it? About $300?
That's what I'm saying. You about $800 minimum.
Huh?
You about $800 in minimum.
Right. So they ain't doing all this work for $200. Come on. There are ways. If I try to make, to be honest with you, I try to make $400 to $500, $400 or more dollars a month off of property, real property.
Really?
Per property. You go to allrealstrategies.com. I can show you how you do that. I do it all the time. It's what now you go at $5,000 a month. So I got a hot water out on one of them. I still got $4,000 in my pocket.
Yeah.
So then you got $60,000 a year. That's really a job. So it costs who was that? Paul Williams said it cost him $1,100. You know what I'm saying? So that's all your profit gone. So that's why I say that's a form of failure. I've been there, done that. That's why I'm on hopefully my last portfolio. I built portfolios about, let me see, probably about four good strong portfolios, 3 to 4 good strong portfolios. The problem with that is too, you have to be careful. People knock the door down to buy them. You've done all this work. There's a lot of people out there say, "Oh, that thing performing good. I like them numbers."
Yeah,
they'll make offers, right? So this is something a mentor type advice here that I give my kids. I use this analogy with them. I say, "Okay, you got a portfolio. You making $30,000 a month, right?" So I said, "How much is that a year?" And they said, "Okay, yeah, Dad, it's about $300, whatever, $60,000 a year." So okay, so I come in and say, "Hey, I give you $1 million cash right now. What are you gonna do? You gonna take that, or keep taking your $360,000 a year?" Now you take $1 million. What you got to do now? You got all that work you've done to build that portfolio. You got to go do it again. $1 million not gonna last you forever unless you know how to really invest it. And in my mind, I know the best way to invest it is in real estate. Unless you're a stock market guy who really knows how to get in that stock market and do some trading or whatever. I'm a stock market guy. I'm a real estate guy. You know?
So at what number you think is a good number? Because the average person ain't gonna have, like you had, Tracy, 150 houses. You know what I'm saying? That just not what the average person can. They can want that, but average person got the job. They working every day. The real estate is passive income for them. Hopefully, if they do it the right way, or they may want to get out of their job and want to do real estate and make that a full-time gig. But what's that magic number that what I'm saying makes it work?
That's their goal, whatever that person's goal is. But like I say again, real estate is not no get rich overnight process. Make a goal. Say I'm gonna do about 2 rental houses a year, 3, whatever, 5, 1, whatever. You should have. For me, to say I'm about 2 rental houses a year, I'm like, what else I'm gonna do? I could go do that, to be honest with you, in 30 days. But I get what you're saying. But someone who works a 40-hour a week job and don't have the resources, don't have the team built to manage these properties and not that experience at it yet, make a goal to buy 1 or 2 a year or whatever, and start building a team with you, like your construction team. The guys you don't build over the years, you know what I mean? That wasn't overnight. If you look back at it, so probably go all the way back to possibly even some guys who worked for your father at one point. I don't know.
You're right.
Right, who've been around 20 plus years, but someone just started, I would say, if you want to build, some retirement, or real estate, you start buying 2 a year, and next thing you know, you got in 10 years, you got, 10, 20 houses. I know a guy that bought VA foreclosures. He when I met him, he's an older guy, he always worked his job. Then he got from his job, and what he did, went and worked on his houses. As a little hobby, he had about 25, 30 of them. All of them was VA foreclosures, for whatever reason. Now, I haven't attacked that market in years, and then again, I said we're in Atlanta, so Atlanta market is different now. There are markets where that strategy would probably still work, even if a VA foreclosure or a HUD foreclosure, up 2 rental properties a year that makes sense for you. Me personally, $100 a month, not a per property. I'm trying to find a marketplace where I can get 400 or better a month after my expenses.
I don't get that much a month, but I get more than 100 a month for a pro. But let me ask you this, and I know this all in the reistrategies.com course, right? So if I'm a neophyte, I'm just getting into the business. I'm about to sign up for your course. I sign up for your course. I'm wholesaling. I find a property. I don't have the money to buy the property. Now, because usually the average person, and when I do my deal, there's 2 loans. It's the first loan to buy the property, and then there's a second loan to refi out of the hard money loan. Because the first loan is to buy the property and renovate the property, and you usually got to have 10 to 20% down of the purchase price, plus insurance and whatever else to go to closing with. So if a property costs, to make easy numbers, if a property costs, and this is Atlanta, this ain't the sub-market, property costs $100,000. You got to have, if it's 20%, $20,000 plus fees. What's insurance? You might have to come to the table with $22,000, $23,000. But if you're in the submarket, let's cut that in half. Let's say 50 to buy the property, and you might have to come to the table with $11,000-$12,000. Now, is the stock market going to allow me to be able to refi at one of these other refi out of that into its more long-term loan with those numbers?
You have to, I'm saying you got to you got to do your own due diligence, research, and find a market that fits your strategy. That fits what to do. They're out there. I'm not saying every market is. You have to kind of just research and find your.
But REI strategies is going to make that give you access to that information.
They can assist you, do that, mentor you through doing that. Correct. Now that's going to be more on the platinum side of things. Yeah, it helps you find, help mentor you through, assist you in finding sub markets that meet where you're going. And I hate to say, for me, I just have to talk for me. Atlanta is not in the current state of the market. It's not a buy and hold market. In other words, let's say if I click on my email, I can find properties $150,000 wholesale price, right?
Yeah.
But then I got to put another, just get them rent ready. I probably have to put 40,000 minimum in it, right? So now I'm in this property basically $200,000. That's not for me. I don't know what, and then that depends on what area you're in, how much you can rent this house for. You rent this house for $2,500, whatever. Now, if you could pay $2,500 for rent, but the way the interest rates are, you might as well buy a house. And that's what's going on, I think. I'm not trying to rain on nobody's parade. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's real. I mean, Atlanta prices are ridiculous.
Trying to make nobody feel probably in a situation like that. A lot of people doing that in Atlanta. It's not my appetite.
So Tracy, give your website out again and tell them how they can get in contact with you.
You go to reistrategies.com, and I'm right now. I think we're about to redo the welcome page there. So, but you still can opt in. You should be able to go to REI Strategies. You can get the REI machines. You can go up to Masterclass. You get the Platinum, and so on. But that's stages. I don't recommend anyone going into the Platinum right away unless you're already a seasoned investor. But if you're a rookie, new at investing, I would suggest that you go to reistrategies.com and go to the REI machines or fast starts to get started. That tells you, talks to you about wholesaling and buy and hold.
Okay. So Tracy, I appreciate you. So how can you contact you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever?
Yeah, Tracy McGuire. I'm right there on Facebook. I have presence on Facebook. I have presence on Instagram as well. YouTube. All. I'll type in my name. You should be able to find me. Right.
And Tracy is from Georgia, so he's in the market that he grew up in. So what I'm saying, right. he knows what he's talking about. I'm a pupil of him. I've known the guy for we met 15 years ago, 10 years ago, something. Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So everything he's talking about that he's done, I've been a witness to. So you know what I'm saying? Check out Tracy. He's a good guy, and he's going to point you in the direction that you need to go. So we're going to sign off. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, Real Talk with DP and Dev 1.